You won't believe what just happened to one of Kenya's most beloved comedians, Sammy Kioko. The man who made us laugh for years has just closed down his entire business, and the reason why will absolutely shock you. Right now as you're watching this, a talented entrepreneur is being accused of playing politics simply because he dared to ask for what he was owed.
Kuna watu walikuwa wananiambia mimi kutaka kuona governor dakika moja. Leo nimehitaji kuona governor. Nimepigia wale marafiki niwaambie akisi upigie governor mwambie achukue simu zangu. Mwambie nione. Marafiki sasa kumbe hata wana namba ya governor.
But that is not even the worst part. Wait until you see what happened next.
Yeah, ndio nimetoka Ushago. And I so sad. On my way back to Nairobi, I saw the county government of Machakos released their statement stating that this is a calculated political scheme to tarnish the governor's name. And I'm just worried.
This is a story about broken promises, sleepless nights outside government offices, and a cry for help that has divided an entire nation. Stay with me because what I'm about to reveal with you is going to change everything you thought you knew about doing business with the government.
Sababu mimi naharibia governor jina nikitaka nini? I'm not a politician, just a young man trying to hustle my way up, just doing business. Wamesema hata wengine labda wajenyona kwa county, mara we don't have even documents, we don't have what, Sammy never did what. So these are our documents. Na wale wanajua mambo ya LP.
Let me take you back to where this all began. Almost 2 years ago, Sammy Kioko, the Churchill show comedian turned entrepreneur, received what seemed to be like a golden opportunity. Machakos County Government approached him with a tender, a youth empowerment initiative that needed sewing machines supplied, and Kioko, being the ambitious businessman he had become, jumped at the chance. This wasn't just any contract, and picture this, a young man who had worked his way up from the comedy stages of Churchill show, now running his own clothing line called Kioko Designs, employing people, creating jobs, and living the dream. He had even built his mother a stunning house back in 2023, a moment he described as one of his greatest blessings. But here is where things get dark. Kioko fulfilled his end of the bargain. He supplied everything the county government requested, sewing machines for youth empowerment, delivered on time, exactly as specified in the contract. He did everything right. Then came the waiting. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, and months turned into nearly 2 years of nothing but empty promises.
It is so sad that you are doing it look like a political game. It was just a call for us to see the governor. It was very urgent. Na kitu tulikuwa tunataka kuonea governor, hata tulikuwa tunataka ikuwe public. We just wanted payment na tumuongelesha hatuelewe malipo. But now, because we've gone online and maybe we can't be able to access the governor, it is so good. Whatever we wanted to tell the governor, yeye haisikie. Haone if it was right for us to go to look for her.
Waiting for the payment you rightfully earned, watching your business slowly suffocate, unable to pay your employees, unable to move forward, and trapped in this nightmare. And this is where our story takes a dramatic turn, because Sammy Kioko has decided he's not going to wait quietly anymore. On October 24th, 2025, this is a date that will be etched in Kenya's entertainment history forever.
Maybe she can explain better.
My name is Marie. I'm a fundi. I own a company called Novata Fashion and Design, and we work with Sammy Kioko, Sammy Designs, Kioko Designs. Last year we supplied a tender for uniforms, and we've been waiting to be paid. We supplied everything and we made sure everything was cleared and even the delivery was stamped.
Because on this particular night, something unprecedented happened. As the sun set over Machakos County, while most people were heading home to their families, Sammy Kioko was parking his car outside a building the locals called the White House, the Machakos County Governor's office, the office of Governor Wavinya Ndeti. But he wasn't there for a meeting. He was there because he had been pushed to the absolute edge, to the breaking point where dignity takes a backseat to desperation. I have been outside the governor's office since morning. Kioko's voice cracked as he recorded himself from inside his vehicle.
Leo nimehitaji kuona governor. Nimepigia wale marafiki niwaambie akisi upigie governor, mwambie achukue simu zangu, mwambie nione. Marafiki sasa kumbe hata wana namba ya governor. Kutoka asubuhi nimekuwa hapa kwa ofisi ya governor ya White House. Nimekuwa hapa White House. Na imagine nataka tu kuona governor. Nataka tu kuona governor. Lakini kuna watu wamehakikisha kabisa siwezi ona governor. Kuna watu hawatambui msanii jamani.
The exhaustion evidence is in every word, and imagine I just want to see the governor, but there are people who have made sure I cannot see the governor. Let that sink in for a moment. A Kenyan citizen who had done legitimate business with his county government couldn't even get 5 minutes with the governor to discuss his payment. The frustration in his voice was palpable and the desperation unmistakable. But here is what makes this even more heartbreaking. Kioko revealed something that hits different when you really think about it. He said some friends had promised him connections, told him they could link him up with the governor. They had numbers, the access, and the influence. Some friends are liars, he said with bitter disappointment. They say they have connections when you don't need them. They told me I could see the governor if I wanted, and they could link me up anytime. But when actually I needed them, when it was time to deliver on the promise, when I needed to see the governor, they didn't even have the governor's number. So there he sat alone in his car as darkness enveloped Machakos with nothing but his determination and a phone camera, capturing his plea to the world. Dark days and nights, he captioned his video, "Urgently need help, things are not okay." The video went super viral instantly because people recognized the raw authenticity of a man who had been pushed too far. And this wasn't performance, this wasn't comedy, and this was a human being breaking down in real time, and Kenya was watching. Within hours of Kioko's video going viral, something remarkable happened. Kenyans from all walks of life began rallying behind him. Fellow comedians showed up physically to stand up with the brother in comedy. Nasra Yusuf the comedian and Nikki Big Fish visited Kioko at the county offices. Their presence a powerful statement of solidarity, and the creative community was mobilizing. Artists who had faced similar frustrations with county government across Kenya were sharing their own horror stories. And suddenly, Sammy Kioko's individual struggle became a nationwide conversation about how the government treats suppliers, especially young entrepreneurs and creatives. Social media exploded with support, thousands upon thousands of comments, and people have been sharing their own experiences. Days after his emotional video outside the government office, Sammy Kioko went to the procurement office in Machakos. One more attempt, one more try to resolve his nightmare through official channels, and what happened there, what he experienced in that office would push him to share even more painful details. Today, before going home, went to the procurement office in Machakos. He shared in a subsequent post, "I have never felt that low. He just looked at me and asked, wewe ndo unaribia governor jina, posting those shenanigans, zimekusaidia aje, zitakuharibia zaidi." And let me translate that for those who don't speak Swahili. The procurement officer looked at this man, this businessman who had fulfill his contractual obligations, and asked him this, "Are you the one spoiling the governor's name? How has posting these things helped you? They will only harm you more." Think about that. A man has to document he wasn't alone during an interaction with the government official because he is afraid of what might happen, afraid of how the narrative might be twisted, and afraid that his word alone won't be believed. And then came the devastating announcement, the moment when Sammy Kioko made these public and sent shockwaves through Kenya's entertainment and business communities. October 31st, 2025, just 1 week after his emotional video outside the governor's office, Sammy Kioko posted a simple but devastating message. He was closing down Kioko Designs, shutting down the doors, and ending the dream. "When we hit rock bottom, we don't care. The worst has happened. Only Kambas can understand. A recording coming up," he wrote. The pain in his words, the defeat, the exhaustion, it's all there. He continued, "You can't say we are playing politics, yet we are genuinely suffering and asking for help." That narrative that had been weaponized against him, the suggestion that his pain wasn't real and that his struggle was manufactured for political gain. But perhaps the most heartbreaking post came with a picture of an eviction notice, a real document dated October 22nd, 2025, from Grateful for Management, addressed to one of his tenants at Kioko Designs. Notice to vacate. The document read, "Kindly be notified above. Kindly clear the house business pending rent arrears to occupy the note as well before you said you have resumed." But that was not the case about arrears. Info number 2028 is informs. The notice was signed, dated, official, and absolutely crashing. And this wasn't theoretical anymore. This wasn't just financial stress. This was people losing their space, their livelihoods, and their dignity. Sammy Kioko's journey from Churchill show comedian to a successful entrepreneur to a man sleeping in his car outside a government office is not just sad, it's a damning incident of how we treat our own. This is a man who made Kenya laugh, who employed Kenyans, who paid taxes, and who built his mother a house, who was living proof that hard work and talent could lead to success. And the system, the very system that should have celebrated him, protected him, and supported him, has instead broken him. The closure of Kioko Designs isn't just one business shutting down. It's a message to every young Kenyan entrepreneur. It's a warning about the cost of trusting government contracts, and it's a testament to what happens when you dare speak up. But here is what I want you to remember. Sammy Kioko didn't give up quietly. He didn't disappear, and he didn't let the narrative be controlled by those who would rather silence him than pay him. He documented his struggle, he shared his truth, and he showed the world what delayed government payments really look like. The question now is, what will we do with this awareness? Will we let Sammy Kioko's story just be another viral moment that fades away, or will we use it as a catalyst for real change? Governor Wavinya Ndeti, if you're watching this, if someone on your team is watching, you have an opportunity here, an opportunity to show that Machakos County values its entrepreneurs, that contracts mean something, and that justice matters. You can still make this right. And to Sammy Kioko, we see you, we hear you, and you are not playing politics. You are fighting for justice. If this story moved you, if this story made you angry, if it made you think, hit that like button, share the video everywhere. Let's make sure this story doesn't get buried. And in the comments below, have you or someone you know experienced similar treatments from county governments? Have you been accused of playing politics for simply asking for what you are owed? Let's create space where these stories can be shared, where we can support each other, and where we can demand better. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because we are going to continue following this story. We're going to continue holding those in power accountable, and you're going to continue amplifying voices that deserve to be heard. Remember, when they stay silent, injustice wins. But we speak up when we stand together, and when we refuse to accept the unacceptable. That is when real change becomes possible. This is the story of Sammy Kioko, the comedian who made us all laugh, the entrepreneur who dared to dream, the man who refused to be silenced, and his story is far from over.